call this meeting to order. Everyone please rise.
Lord, we come before you tonight asking you for your guidance in all of our decisions that is made, and make sure that they're all for the betterment of our community and all of our citizens. And keep your hand on everybody on their way home tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Please join in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will now have a roll call to establish quorum.
Perry.
Here.
Adams. Here. Wallander. Here. Holder. Here.
And on the agenda, we need to move item number 17, the golf course aerator quotes, up to after number 2, before number 3. And we are removing the number 21, the closed session. We're removing that from the agenda. So I ask for approval with the agenda with these 2 revisions.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, is there a second? All in favor, please say aye. Okay. Our first item of new business is the introduction of our new city administrator. This is Evan Linden. Still don't get his name right. Okay, Evan Lindeman. EvanLindeden. Okay. He transitioned to full-time on January the 29th as our new city administrator. Trish Cruz, who was the interim, is still working 2 days a week to work on some policy updates in the new website. So she will eventually transition out completely. But for right now, we have a full-time new administrator. And you can get in touch with him by calling City Hall. Our second item is parking in front of City Hall, and 2 of our supervisors from Parks and the Streets are here to address the council. Bill Pelt and Cody Haynes.
I'm Cody Haynes.
I'm Bill Pels.
So in the past,
You'll have to really speak up because we don't have a microphone over there. Happened to it.
thank you, Terry.
You'll still need to really speak up, please.
I'll try. I'm pretty sick. I kinda lost my voice this weekend, trying to get it back. So, in the past, it's been parallel on the east side of Oak Street and 45-ish angled on the west side, and we've had congestion forever through here. And my thinking is we've got a brand new street right here, and two vehicles cannot safely pass if both sides are being used for parking areas. I would like y'all's approval to parallel everything from Front Street, leave it as is, all the way up to the school. All parallel in front of Curtis's, Walgreens, because we have congestion up Second too, especially if there's parking on the side in front of the pawn shop. So, and Bill has some safety reasons.
Parallel on both sides.
Yes, ma'am.
So according to Missouri DOT standards, this measurement out here from sidewalk to sidewalk is 48 feet. And if we do if we do angle parking and parallel parking, it doesn't give us enough roadway. So DOT asked that we give 12 feet, and with what we have now, we have about 10 feet. And so I parked my truck out there, which is a crew cab long bed dually, just to measure it. I'm parked with my tire on the sidewalk, and I stick out 25 feet to the road. So my truck is similar to what a lot of the farmers and guys have around here. They have these big trucks with even bigger flatbeds on them, and they stick out even further. So for safety issues and for our ADA standards, we need to parallel park down both sides and open up enough driveway. Or we need to do away with parallel parking on one side and angle park. The problem with that is, again, it's a safety issue, is now everybody has to cross the street that wants to get to the businesses and stuff over there. So ADA requires, if we parallel park, I have to have, because we have limited space, it has to be van accessible, which is 8 foot of parking and 8 feet of what they call an aisleway. The aisleway is for the van to set a ramp down and for them to safely get out in a wheelchair. If we do that parking by City Hall, I can use some of the sidewalk because it's flat right there. If I do it anywhere else and I do a van parking, we would be 16 feet off the sidewalk. And so what we need to do is put certain parking at certain places. And so what I did is I went through the at least the city square, and we have parking at different spots for handicap. We need to add a few, and that would be on Front Street. We need to add 2, and they need to be, those will be vertical, or not vertical, but at an angle. On Front Street, we have 45 feet, so we have plenty of roadway. If we just do vertical, or not vertical, angle parking. So that's fine. It's just Oak Street is we just don't have enough room. I went down there yesterday, went down through there Friday. Big trucks and stuff are out there, and you literally have to stop. And my company truck, city truck, is just a single wheel. It's not even a dual wheel, so it's not as wide. You still have to stop for people to move over enough to get by. So it's just a safety thing. If you go back to DOT standards, we don't meet those regulations if we angle park.
Will parallel parking work from the alley up to Front Street here because of the?
We'll have to move it out a little bit. So on a parallel parking space, they're mandatory 8, and they range from 18 to 30 feet. If we go to like West Plains, theirs are 30 feet, and they've set that because of big trucks like mine. 25 feet, if we do that, we end up with 13 down one side, 12 down the other because of the fire hydrant at the far end. So
No, I meant because it humps up so high.
yeah, we have, so instead of 8 feet, we'll come out 10 or 12 feet. But even with that, it
On
still
the
gives us
sidewalk.
enough roadway. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So what we would do is just make them a little wider because of that. We pulled the truck down there, and we're at the very end, you cannot open a door up over that sidewalk. So you're gonna have to park far enough off there to at least have 2 or 3 feet to open your door. So if we went 10 feet, we can even go 12 feet if we need to and still have enough space.
Now, it was decided sometime back to make the west side of Oak Street a loading zone.
No, that was,
East.
I think that was,
Was this corner right here.
Elm.
It's supposed to be on Elm.
that was Elm.
That was
Yeah.
Elm.
Yeah, it wasn't Oak. That was the west side of Elm right there, just on this side of the parking for the lumberyard.
Okay,
For
I thought we
Foster's.
had it up here so that it wouldn't block the
No,
corner.
I
it
have
was
the minutes
suggested, it was
somewhere.
suggested, but then,
I know it, neither of them were ever done, but.
Right.
So, are you taking into consideration a loading zone
We,
at this
we
point
can
when
take
you're
part
talking
of that area if you want to and make a loading zone. You could do it on both streets if you wanted to. It would probably take away
You
2 of
need
your
to
parking
get the
places.
trucks off of Front Street there because of the,
Yeah,
How many trucks
Angle
load on
parking.
Front Street?
I don't know.
Right there.
Maybe there's not
I've
enough
always
to
known
even-
them unloading in the alleyway or over here on Elm.
yeah, they've been there once or twice for the Fosters for the appliances.
I think that the only loading zone I remember being in the minutes was on Elm, but I could be wrong.
How many parking spaces is that gonna cut us down out here? By parallel parking on both sides? Cause I mean, it's loaded up with cars.
On
every
Oak
day.
Street?
So if we do parallel parking, it gives us, 24 spaces, 25 spaces. Now, your other option is to do away with parking on the other side of the street, do all angle parking. If I do that, I can get 30 to 31 spaces on this side of the street.
Yeah, but we lose everything on the other
But
side.
you're gonna lose everything on the other side, including the loading
I
zone.
don't think
That's
the
what
business
you're
owners will like
Isn't
that.
that gonna put cars running pretty close to that sidewalk over there though?
No.
Okay.
So what happens is it gives us about 30 feet, just a little bit less, well,
Well,
about 28 feet.
and if we have some designated handicap parking, the next block, both sides are not utilized for parking.
So everything that's on the
For shopping
square,
parking.
Cody and I have talked about making, except for Front Street, that would still be angle parking. Every other parking place around the squares would be, parallel parking.
We have to be very meticulous on Front Street, cause we have to be within MoDOT guidelines too, so we don't wanna do a whole lot of changing up there.
But parallel parking in front of the corner where Walgreens used to be, you're talking about making that parallel parking.
Yes.
All of it, yeah. When, you can't, like, you have to physically stop and hope that other traffic's not coming. If there's trucks parked in front of the post office and then trucks
It'll be
parked across the
It'll be on
street.
both sides as well.
Yeah, it would be
Well,
parallel.
if you take parking off one side, aren't you guys gonna have to do like some crosswalks and stuff for safety?
So everything right now needs to be repainted. So all our lines need to be painted, all the crosswalks need to
Yeah,
be
but what I'm
repainted.
saying is if you take it completely away from one side, you would have to make crosswalks for people to
Yes.
go from one
Yeah.
side to the other. where there's
And
not
more than
enough.
likely, we would put it right here in the alleyway.
What they did years ago, a number of years ago, because Cliff's Barber Shop used to be right down there. There was no parking on that side of the road from the alley down. Everything was angle parking from the alley down to First Street, nothing on that side. And then when you got up here, everything was parallel parking in front of City Hall and in front of across the street.
And we can do something like that too.
I mean, the reason I remember that is because climbing out of the car, being up, going up like this, when you climb out the door, you remember, you used to go to the barber shop down there, and that was always angle parking. Nobody was, I'm pretty sure there were signs across the road on the telephone pole that said no parking.
It's just something that everybody, the citizens are gonna have to get used to, no matter how we do it. And we're gonna have to post signs and then,
When I say that over there on that side of the street came about after they fixed it, people just started using it. It didn't used to be, I think it was a loading or unloading zone and no parking, and that was it. You'd only lose what you can't lose out front right here.
you're not gonna, if you made it a loading zone, you're gonna lose those spots.
Yeah, but.
And what you're gonna gain, just angle parking halfway down, you're not gaining a whole lot. I think we'd be better off if we parallel park all of it. If we want a loading zone, we can put it in, I think it's more appropriate down toward Foster's is, on the side of, maybe like where the, lumberyard parking lot is, make that side a
Right by
loading
the
zone.
sidewalk.
Yeah, right by the sidewalk, make that a loading zone and mark it
East sidewalk.
specifically for that.
Okay, so you're talking about parallel all of the square
Everything
What's
but,
this?
everything but Front Street.
Everything but Front Street.
at Front Street.
And loading zone on,
Loading
East
zone
Elm.
on the east elm, on the east side.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's parallel parking the second block of Oak Street also, on both sides. Because there is, I mean, that's being utilized a lot for parking trucks and stuff at this time.
Shouldn't we put loading zone on the west side of Elm over there, at the corner there too, so they wouldn't have to take their products across the street?
You could take it, I guess, maybe right there where
With the brick building.
where Atkins used to be, they tore that down, we could probably put one,
Yeah.
maybe on both sides. And just use that end on both sides as loading zones, that would be fine.
So the west side of Elm.
Then it could go either way though, if it was on both sides. Go to the lumber yard or to all the businesses.
So
that
parking
are
on the
there.
lumberyard side and loading zone on the west side,
Right,
all the way to the alley.
yes.
Somebody
I'm just
put the-
thinking if they have something unloaded, they
Right.
wouldn't have to be taken
Crossing
across the
the
street.
street, which technically
So-
MoDOT through there.
On the parallel, that's the 13 on west and 12 on east parking spots. That's what you calculated on the parallel.
Yeah, the fire hydrant's at the far end, you can't put one there.
Where that brick building was at, somebody's putting businesses in there, food service trucks. So if you're parking there for loading and unloading,
We'll be blocking
be better
bids.
served on the other side, I would
That's
think. On the
true
east
also.
side instead of the west side.
Cause there's no egress there.
Right, on the east side,
Instead of the
there's
west side.
probably never gonna be a business on that side.
Well,
But I also see,
they're gonna, my understanding is that she's going to rent the food truck to park there. So if there's a semi truck parking there unloading, you're not gonna get too many people.
But they're not there that long,
yeah,
just to unload.
you never know, you can put time on it really.
Park there when nobody else
But-
is in the loading zone for a few
But
minutes.
for safety
Would
reasons,
they
I
be
mean, they will be
allowed?
crossing Elm/17, whatever you wanna call it. Carrying or pulling, who knows what. That's a hard choice to make.
But the trucks that I've seen parking there for the one business on Front Street, they're not there that long.
Right.
You know,
Well, most of the time, if you have a loading zone, they should only have a 30-minute window that they're allowed to park there to
Right.
to do business. So in that, we can simply put signage up that says that they have a time period that they're allowed to park there.
We can call our wonderful cops.
Well, then is there somehow that we could also post that a time limit for other people to park there? I mean,
That's up to the city, we can post time limit parking
Do we want-
anywhere you want to.
Do we wanna time our,
If you wanted to do that, I mean,
our business?
Then
To
it's-
allow the use of that one that's not being used as a loading zone is what I'm thinking of.
Well, you got businesses there that, you know, some of them are just walk-in stores and there's a restaurant there. They could be in that restaurant for an hour. Or they
Right.
could be in there, you know, just shopping for 10 minutes.
And I'm thinking of like the lady that is going to have the food trucks there for, where are people gonna park to access that
right.
business?
Probably, I would say a majority will park across, like where the Mexican restaurant people park. And walk across.
Park
the-
across the street and walk across the
Yeah.
street.
Speaking
To
of
the food
that,
trucks instead of park on the side where you guys wanna park semis at for unloading, that's why I said the east side instead of the west side, they'd
Right.
be right there beside the lumberyard, which when you drive through there, you guys drive through there more than I do, but over the years, I have not ever seen that part of the block very full of cars at all.
You're right.
I have seen the other side
yeah,
actually quite full.
especially with Regan Farm moving over there, getting even busier now, so.
speaking of safety, do we need crosswalk because of that parking that's across Front Street? down
Every,
there?
every place that there's a walkthrough should be marked as a crosswalk
I have
across the road.
requested MoDOT
But that's a
several
MoDOT.
times,
That's a MoDOT thing.
several times to
No,
patch
no.
up their crosswalks
On
and.
17, on Front Street it is.
Yes,
Okay, so you're gonna tell me that in front of the grade school, the same thing, I've been through that. No, if the school, actually, if you wanna know the whole, I've studied this, right there in front of the grade school, there's crosswalks, nobody cross. If you want, the school can come down here and say, we want crosswalks going across 17, and guess what? The state has to approve it. Because the children have to walk back and forth to school.
maybe that's something, Evan, Sherry, you might wanna get a hold of the school to request that, cause I've tried to get MoDOT.
Well, they're not gonna paint them. Your city's gonna
Well,
have to
if they
paint
just
them.
give us
You just
permission to
get-
do it,
Well,
we
once
can
they'll
pay
give us
them.
permission, I'll pay it.
To build crosswalks
But-
across Front Street, is what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, but all the school has to do is request such,
Yeah.
because whatever, Oak Street here and then the next street over, there should be crosswalks
Yeah.
there, because the children are walking back and forth to school.
I just don't know what authority we have without permission.
But that's where the sidewalks are, that's
Right.
connected to the school. I'm talking about the parking in those there are 2 or 3 walkways,
right. They still cross,
Parking
they still
across-
cross MoDOT roads.
Yeah.
right,
So-
so
We
do
will
we
need-
want
while we're doing this, we might as well do the whole thing.
Yeah, we can,
Do
if
we
they,
want
if they give us
crosswalks?
permission, we'll paint them on there, that's not an
I've
issue.
got a stencil made, it won't take very long at all.
Payment nighttime.
Well, and it will be nice, because then a sign needs to be put up. If
Mhm.
somebody's in the crosswalk, you need to stop and let them go.
Yeah.
Because the number of days that I've seen 50 miles an hour through there by people, or boom, just the other day. I was
Yeah,
walking
they do-
across and
they
somebody
do come
looked at
pretty
me and
fast
just went,
down Front Street.
Yeah.
Especially if they're coming off 17.
There's a major struggle I've fought for a couple months is getting MoDOT to put signs up. That's been a problem
We
I've
can
had,
make a
cause
formal request to them.
I requested, Trish requested,
Can we make a request to have a meeting with them as council?
I think Trish was working on that.
Was she? Okay.
Yeah,
Cause
cause
I
I
was-
was telling me to get a hold of them about those signs that we
The
approved.
lights, well, and the lights.
And the lights, yeah.
Okay. So for now, the decision that we need approval for is to parallel park all but First Street.
no. Angle Park, all of First Street.
I mean parallel park all other streets except
okay.
First
Except
Street.
First Street.
And are we going to go with a loading zone on the east side by the sidewalk?
Well, here's what we
People
could
don't
do.
walk
We
over
could
there
do,
as
we
much.
could do it on the east side, see how it works.
On Elm?
Yeah, on Elm, and then, just see what happens. If it doesn't work or it's not working, then in a month or two, we can change it. If it's lines painted on a road, it can be fixed.
Okay, are we ready for a motion, please?
Okay, what is this motion? All parallel parking on the square? Is that how we're gonna put it? Except for
I would
Front
say
Street?
downtown.
Well, the two, let's say on Elm to
Second,
Oak Street,
Second
from
Street.
First to Third Street is what we're talking about?
And then Second Street.
Yes,
Yeah,
from
Second Street as
First
well.
to Third Street.
Right.
So you want a parallel park that way also, both sides?
Yeah,
Up here by, towards the police station?
No.
Right out here.
yeah.
Where Walgreens used to be, all the way
Yeah.
up to the grade school.
Yeah.
That's a congestion area too,
Yeah, everything would be,
when you're coming this way.
Parallel park, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so again, it's First Street to Third Street, Elm Street to Oak Street that we're talking about.
correct.
It'll take a little getting used to, but I think it will help our traffic issue tremendously.
And
Okay, I'll make a
loadings-
motion that we do parallel parking on Elm Street to Oak Street, from First Street to Third Street and angle parking on Front Street. And loading zone on east side of Elm Street from First Street to the alley. And make it 30-minute, are we gonna put a time limit on that?
For the parking,
On
The loading
The
zone,
loading
yeah,
zone.
I would do a 30-minute.
30-minute
Yep.
loading.
I can get a sign put up for that.
Did we ever find out if we have any of the bumpers?
We have 0,
Zero?
and they are pricey.
We won't have to do that if we.
No, if we're
No.
parallel, we will need them, that's also gonna be a big money saver, cause they were like $90 a piece.
But you actually still be, down from Oak Street down there to, whatever, that Elm Street down there, whatever that is.
Like in front of the Mexican restaurant?
Yeah. You can drive right up on the sidewalk anytime you want. You can drive through any of those buildings right there. They really should have stops.
Okay, let's,
That's
we
something,
need to go,
that's something that we can just throw those in when we get them. But they are
bumpers as
pricey.
needed, I guess, would be the way, on Front Street, the bumpers as needed. Okay, Terry, can you repeat this motion before we go for the second?
Parallel Park, First Street, Parallel Park, Elm to Oak, First to Third, and angle on Front Street with bumpers. And a loading zone on the east side of Elm from First to the alley, and 30-minute limit in the loading zone sign.
Okay, that's the motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, is there any further discussion?
When will we get this started?
Temperature and rain is what I'll have to watch, so springtime, and I'll be working in conjunction with Phil and Brayden, I'm sure, but, as soon as I get temperature and a break in the weather, I would love to catch up on some potholes. But it will be mid-spring. Cause we can't, we really have to watch the weather, cause if we get to paint and it goes raining, we got problems. But that's my time frame.
Okay,
And parallel will take half the time. Remember, I done Front Street, Lord, 2 years ago, probably. That took forever. I need to touch that up, so I don't have to redo it completely. That will save me a lot of time.
okay, I think we're ready for a roll call vote.
Perry,
Aye.
McAdams,
Aye.
Wallander,
Aye.
Coulter.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is the golf course aerator quotes, and Barney is here to address this. I will make note that, purchasing policy allows for used equipment not to go out for formal bid. We get competitive quotes that she has, that's what's in the packet.
Well, we need to buy this simply because last year we paid $3,200 for him to come once. We normally hire this out, it really needs to be done twice a year, and this year he wants $3,500 for the spring and $3,500 for the fall. So that'd be $7,000, to do it twice, and we can buy our own for $7,075. And we don't have to work around anybody else's schedule. We don't have to close the course down, right now we close the course down for 2 days every time we do this. We can close the front half down, do it, and then open the front half back up, and close the back half down, do it, and then open it back up and do it.
So I gathered that this preferred one is the 800 walking aerator.
Yes,
Is this 2013 John Deere Aircore 800?
yeah.
So the pages 126 through 129, 130. Is the quote on this piece of equipment.
There's three
Then
separate
the
quotes.
following is,
The first two are the exact same machine, but yet different machines, the exact same setup, and then the third one goes on the back of a tractor.
Do they go by hours on them, or like a tractor?
Yeah, the first one has, like 280, the second one has,
Okay, so, page 126,
yeah,
okay, how many?
280, the second one has, 250, and the third one, I don't know, because they don't have an hour meter on, so it goes on the back of the tractor.
Yeah, I understand.
Is 129, page 129, I don't know if yours is,
Mine's not numbered, so,
it's the one that says, 2013 John Deere 800?
yeah,
Is that the same as that?
that's the same as the one for 55.
The first one.
Okay.
And the shipping on that second one, the 2013 for 7,500 is 1,000, so it'd be 8,500 to get it here. And the shipping on the 59, the one for the back of the tractor for 5,900, the shipping on it was like, I think it was right at 1,000, like 950 to get it here. And the preferred one's 5,500, and they want 1,575 to ship it, but it's gotta come all the way from Massachusetts, so.
Do you know the average lifespan of these hour-wise?
It all depends on how good you take care of it. I mean,
Oh,
If
it's
it's
not
well
like it's
taken
used
care of?
every day,
No.
you know, twice a year, they have to
Yeah.
create the greens.
the first one, he says he does have some, documents that he had got from the people they got them from, where they regularly change the oil and grease and all that stuff, so I'm sure, he said he will go through it before he ships it, make sure there's nothing wrong.
And the second one had, how many hours on it, did you say?
250,
250.
the first one had right at 280.
Where's it coming from? What's the shipping on that one?
The first one, the second one.
The second one.
Second one's 1,000,
Okay, it's 1,000.
yeah, so it'd be 8,500 for it, to get it here.
That was the reason why you preferred the first one.
Cheaper, and it's the exact same setup as the second one, and plus, I'd rather have one that you walk behind, cause you can keep a better eye on it, while you're doing the job, than have one on the back of the tractor, and you got somebody watching you back there while you're doing it.
Plus you have to have the tractor on the greens.
Yeah.
okay, are we ready for a motion on this request to purchase this John Deere Airport 800 walking aerator for a total of $7,075?
I'll make a motion. The preferred one
A motion to,
for John Deere aerator, 800 walking aerator. Aircore, I'm sorry.
we have a second to approve this purchase?
I'll second.
You can't
We
hear
have a
me. I'm
motion and a
sorry.
second to purchase the John Deere Aircore 800 walking aerator for $7,075. Is there any further discussion?
We never had one.
We've all started it out.
If no further discussion, a roll call vote?
Harry,
Aye.
McAdams,
Aye.
Wallinger,
Aye.
Coulter.
Aye.
Thank y'all. y'all very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
No, it does not apply
I've
to,
got, can you
Your
wait just a minute, I
Yeah.
have a question for you on your financial.
Okay.
yeah, I spoke
Well, I
with the
just-
attorney about, family and,
It was my
nepotism.
understanding that she abstained from anything from the golf course. I apologize.
No.
Okay. Next one is the financial reports. There's bank statements in the claims report. Any questions on the claims from January 1 through January 31? It does show the power purchase twice in January, but that's been corrected. It was December, should have been posted with December
I
date.
just, I only got one question. On the Simmons Bank, what is BADGY PL STC CRD printer admin?
Okay,
On
what
page
page?
11.
Page
It's
11.
a plastic card printer of some type.
Well, I was just curious
Oh,
as to
for a
what that.
badge, name badges?
Is that in the police?
No, it says admin.
That was a, police department purchase. It was our, commission card printer.
It's your what?
Our commission card printer, it prints the, name ID badges.
Oh, okay, all right, that's all. I was just wondering what it was, cause it, all this abbreviation, I just was like,
The
okay.
badgy plastic.
Okay. Well, shouldn't that be in the police department budget instead of admin?
Yeah, it
Yeah, we'll do a
should,
GL entry for it.
yeah,
I
all
talked to
should.
Trish.
I think you
It was supposed to
doubled
come out
it.
lower.
I think you've got it twice.
Yeah.
Police shows it right there, and then they show it in admin also, Terry.
Okay.
On page 11 and page 12. If you look at police, you see the same
Yeah.
thing.
Different amount.
We'll just have to make a correction for that.
Yes, I will check that.
Yeah, it's two different now.
The price of it is different. The one on admin is $394, and the one in the police, budget is $675.
There could have been something purchased for admin, well,
And they just misspelled
Well-
it.
and just, you only have so many spaces to put any kind of description in there.
Yeah, that's a Simmons Bank is a credit card statement, so it may just be the way it was notated.
And that may be
Correct.
why admin is just added to the part. So I would say the admin part of that purchase was $394.85. The police part of that charge was $675.45. But you can confirm.
I'll
that.
double check it.
I've got one question, so Ernie can go home. The seal mount heater at the golf course,
Yeah.
and then it's got electric motor for the golf course? Was that all with that heater or what?
Well, we had the heater and the motor went out on it, so I had to run down here to the auto parts to get one, cause that was when we had our coldest time. And then once the pipes freeze up, so I took that one up until I got the motor in and fixed the other one. And then I took the new small one we had and put it in another building we had to heat it.
So you put the motor in your heater on your own?
Yeah.
And it's working?
Yeah.
Good for you. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So on page 17, I have a question on Brightspeed Airport Internet. And then the electric meter internet. Is that normal? On page 14?
Page 14 or page
No,
17?
Or 17, excuse me, 17.
Was that because some of the accounts from Brightspeed were inadvertently deleted?
Yes.
Merged,
they
and
had to
then
be
it's also, I
restated.
believe it's also 2 months worth of service or a month and a half worth of service because we turned it off, turned it back on.
Okay.
And we do have an open billing, dispute with them with regards to that, because we actually didn't have service from December 20th forward, until like the 4th or 5th of February. So we have an open dispute with them on that, and then on the 4th and 5th, we managed to get it all back up and running.
They also charged us some connection charges to reconnect it, and they tell me they're going to give those back.
Waive them.
So, yeah, they're gonna waive them.
Where's that first one at? Oh, there.
Terry, I printed it on page 17, where it says police, it says 21726 out there across from, Shriver Oil Company. That's
Can't
just
hear
like
you,
a
Cal.
backdated type thing, or, in other words, it's forward dated, not backdated, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Back on the admin, on the, page 11, should the meter reader car fuel be taken out of admin or what?
Should be out of water, I believe. I don't know, meter reader?
Which one is that?
It's, page 11 on admin, the third one up from the bottom. It's a bill from Anchor, and it's,
Meter reading, car
meter
fuel,
reading car, it's fuel, it says.
Well, don't you get gas in the admin, the van? The $30 charge, is that what you're talking about?
Uh-huh,
Yeah, that may
So
be
that
for
would
the
be from-
van.
instead of the meter reader.
Well, that's the admin meter reading for car fuel, it'd be the Anchor
Right,
card.
okay.
Am I correct in that?
Yeah, it
This
should
is
be.
not talking about the meter reader going around and reading the water meters.
I will check and make sure that that is put in the van and not in the meter reader's car.
And on page 14, on parks, the pogo stick golf, this is the second time that's ended up in parks. That's a charge that they got on that pogo, which they use on the greens to meter the moisture and the dryness. So that don't have nothing to do with parks, so that should go
Okay.
down to parks. I mean, go down to golf,
Yep.
sorry.
Yeah, the invoice was a little confusing and I thought it was parks, so I told her to put it there.
Yeah,
So I will fix that.
but it's a, they call it a pogo stick, but it checks the moisture in the greens,
Oh, okay.
and it's through the internet, that's what the charge is.
Anything that's Turf Pro is gonna be golf.
Ready to go.
Okay, anything else on the January report? Let's go.
On the police, budget, or, claims report,
What page are you on?
17, sorry.
Oh, that's in February. Okay. Anything
I'm
else
sorry.
in January?
No,
Okay, let's go to February. And these are all to be approved, so we've got, robber fees for admin and robber fees for, that are over the 1,000 is what I'm looking at.
800.
No, there's some of them. I don't know if they're.
Ms. Springfield Grocery, what were you asking about?
On 17, page 17, in police, claims, the fourth one up from the bottom, it's from the signal. Why is it one officer's name on there for $816? We can't say the officer's name.
No, that officer, it probably, each person has a card with their name on it, and I will let payables know not to put those names in there.
There's a number for each one.
There's a
Oh, okay.
like that. 18 and 19, on a lot of, Mountain View Auto Parts, what is split? What are they splitting? There's one for streets, there's one for sanitation. It says Mountain View Auto split. There's one for the sewer department that is from Brown's. And then below it, in the water department, is another split for Brown.
There's one up there at electric also.
And then
There's statements that come in that have invoices for all different departments on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the auto parts, we get the statement, there's several different departments on there.
And then electric, and then what you got on page, you're on the same page, 18. Electric on
Yeah,
page.
If it's got different departments, how are you knowing how to take it out of that department's budget?
It's got different departments on it, and the supervisors will give us the ticket when they pick up the part
Gotcha.
with their department, and then when we get the statement, we match them.
Oh, okay. It was a little confusing, it was split here, split there.
Right.
It's all the credit bureau associates.
Credit Bureau Associates, they charge us when they collect bad debt.
Okay.
So we get a bill for, we collected this, and they charge 40%.
We actually collected on
Some,
here. Page
Little.
19, on water, it does have a name right there also.
Yes, I circled that to.
on the very back, page 20, for the total claims report so far for the February, is the $621,936.50. But $476,987 of that is for the wastewater collection system improvements, payments to the contractor in February. But again, that is coming out of that grant money.
The 476 is
Mhm.
coming out of that.
Yes. Okay, at this time, I wanna ask for a motion, unless there's any more questions about these claims reports, a motion to approve all of these bills as they have been presented.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now. The next financial reports, there's a revenue report, a treasury connect report, expenses for January, the bank cash report, and the sales tax comparison. But we do not have January and February in here yet. Next is the MUPA bill that is the January statement. It's $249,872.87.
What page is that on each sheet?
52. I know I went through those pretty quickly, but if you've got any questions, comments. This was the statement from January. It automatically comes out of the bank account on the 20th, or right around there, but this invoice shows the due date of 1/20. So that came out in January. We will be addressing we get the bill in January for the previous month, so that's really December's bill, but it was what was paid in January. We will be addressing the current bill in a few minutes. So, do you have any more questions on any of the financial reports? Okay, the next item is the budget adjustment, page 54 in your packet, which shows the $10,000 donation to the youth center. Because the original budget showed the considerations of $92,166, so we budgeted that $10,000, so considerations now are $82,166, meaning that our expected revenues are that much over the expected expenses. So I need to ask for a motion to approve this budget adjustment.
I'll make that motion.
We have a second to approve this budget adjustment to $10,000 additional expense.
And we can't hear anything y'all are saying back here. I don't know, we don't have,
Can you hear now?
yes.
We're gonna have to get.
Everybody move your microphones closer, please. There is a $10,000 donation to the youth center that was not budgeted, and this is a budget adjustment to include that $10,000 in our expected expenditures for the year. Right now, this budget, the revenue expectations are $82,166 over the expected expenditures. I call for a motion to approve this budget adjustment, and now I ask for a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Perry,
Aye.
McAdams,
Aye.
Wallander,
Aye.
Coulter.
Aye. Okay, the next are the department reports. Most of them were in your packets. There were a couple that were received by the clerk after the packet was made up, and she had provided those to us tonight. These, for the audience's knowledge, each of the departments turn in basically what they've done for the month.
I was, talking to Evan about these photos, and he has some good ideas how to cut all this down for, how'd you say it, Evan, they could put what they intended to do for the week and.
Right, so, we're gonna establish targets for what their projects to do, progress-wise, so they'll explain, what their target was, what they accomplished, what they're going to do next, and anything that's preventing them from doing what they.
And maybe be more uniform between the departments.
More uniform and a little more KPI metrics based.
And they could still give us a very brief, what they accomplished all month.
Yeah, anything that was outstanding or out of the ordinary, we want to know about, as well as maybe counts on tickets processed if necessary.
Were you able to hear him when he was speaking?
No.
Okay. We just have to talk right into these microphones, evidently.
So what I was saying is, we wanna establish targets or goals for each of the departments to move forward on. For instance, maybe installing X number of water meters per month and measure that, as well as have them tell us in detail, what they've accomplished this month, what their goal or accomplishments targeted for the next month are, and then anything that's impeding their ability to do that. And then, as Judy said, anything that's kind of extraordinary that, like perhaps, we might get a little additional blurb or note about something like the electric line break we had during the storm, that type of thing. It'll be a little more concise, uniform, everybody will do it the same, and it'll just be easier to deal with and to ingest.
I think that sounds good to me, and we didn't have 500 pages. Do you?
Okay. If there any other questions or comments on this?
Stetson, on the,
Talk into the microphone, please.
sorry, on the grant for, Blue Shield,
Can you hear?
Yes.
which you have it attached, but which one specifically do you see trouble completing?
The second line item, is actually, our budget, is lower than it was the last couple of years. And so, since it's specifically under that second line item, it's like the treasurer will present a letter, I can't remember the exact thing, but it's like how the budget has increased. I was talking to Evan the other day, and I think maybe a way to approach it is like, because we have such a large budget compared to other departments, I can present like our percentage of overall budget to them instead of like, our budget has grown over the last 2 years. Instead of approaching it that way, like we're taking a larger overall amount of money from the city, and so like the city has invested in the department, and try to approach it that direction to meet that number 2 requirement. There are a lot of requirements, but we will try to get it done, because that's a non-match grant that we would be up for.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
And on number 2 there may be other ways to skin that cat.
Okay, there's
One more thing.
in the mic, I'm sorry.
On the potholes, where they drilled them out for is there any way we can halfway fill them or something, cause there's some that they drop in, and I mean, it's deep. There's some on
Are you talking about the sewer,
manholes, covers,
K-Jax
yeah,
construction?
K-Jack, where they knock them out.
We're going to have a status meeting on the 17th. And that'll be addressed at that time, as far as I know, unless you've talked to anybody about it.
I have not,
Sooner.
but there is a requirement that they bring them back up to level grade, so, the question is whether they plan on, I think we need to address, are you planning on doing it as you do the work, or are you gonna come back and do it, in which case that's problematic for us, I think.
Oh, yeah, and I do know that the Visi Shore part with the cameras and stuff, that part has to be completed first, so I'm not sure how that all fits in, but we will ask them that,
I know
yes,
some,
they are aware.
some on James Street, if you fall off and then,
They filled them today.
oh, did they?
Somebody filled them up today.
Okay, so
Okay.
maybe they are doing it as they go.
On James Street?
Yeah, they're in the middle, when I was coming through, where they took those out, they had like real fine gray, like gravel stuff in it, but it was the finer stuff, cause I hit it and I thought, oh, but it didn't do like it did the other day.
So I know there's some of them that you fall in them and it's like.
You're talking about the meter holes, you
Yes.
said potholes, but
Yes.
what's around the
No, I'm
meters,
not
yeah.
talking- Yeah, where they knock the asphalt
Right.
off so they can get in there.
Yeah.
And then some of them is 6 inches deep till you hit them with your,
We'll find out what their
okay,
plans are
They
for
are
this.
on, my street too. The ones that,
Ridgeway,
they're that deep.
and you hit them and
Yeah,
it's horrible on the front end of your car.
we just need to caution people,
Well,
but we'll find out how that fits into their schedule.
Well, what scares me, we've got people that jog of a night, and boy, if they happen to step in one of them, you know it is right.
Okay, anything else on the department reports? Okay, now we have the minutes of the January meetings to approve. 7th and the 9th, 13th. Is there a motion to approve these minutes?
I'll make that motion.
We have a second? Do we have a second?
No, second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Okay. Yeah, that's a typo that we found, and there's a date that doesn't reflect on the minutes. All right, our next item is the January MOPA bill. The invoice date is 2/18. And as pointed out last month, it was 249,000 something. This month, it's $555,886.10. Evan, do you want to address this?
Sure, so we got a.
Please speak right into the microphone.
So we did receive along with that a letter of explanation stating that, due to the, winter storm Fern, demand increased and the cost of raw electricity for the provider went up by 140%. They've offered to, I'm sorry, Terry, you have a little note there. They've offered to defer up to $334,759 of that and spread it over $221,126.24 of that, and spread it over a 9-month period with a potential 5% interest rate on it.
So basically, this would be the same thing as what happened back in 2021 and the overage that MOPA carried for the city for 5 years. We were paying $10,608.63, and this February payment would be 56 payments of that 60. So we would only owe 4 more payments of that 10,000 on the 2021 relief. So we're now back in that same position again. But that's the only way we,
Calvin bragged too soon.
yes, we were very happy that we were
Let's hope not.
very thankful, but what is the, okay, on the bottom of it says, what they will withdraw on the 18th is the $334,759.86.
Correct.
and then they will divide that 221,126.24 into 9 payments with approximately 5% interest, potential 5%.
Say that again, Sherry, they'll take out what,
At
three?
the very bottom, look at the very bottom of the NEPA bill there.
Okay,
It's-
I'm sorry,
It's,
okay, that's it.
so we need a motion to approve this offer.
So what will that be per month, that we're gonna have to be paying again? What will that be per month, what we'll be paying again?
We do have enough finances to pay the whole bill in the whole if we wanted to. It would put us in a tight pinch, but we can make the whole payment.
And that would save us the 5% if they would charge us for each one.
Yes,
But then we just need to find more revenue to cover that, it's not in the budget. But for right now, we've got the money to be able to put it out, we're just gonna have to recoup it somewhere.
What would that be a month, Evan?
I don't know, I guess,
44,000, something like that.
yeah, and then, and plus interest.
44,305, does that sound right for
Sounds about
extra
right.
net for 9 months?
Plus whatever interest they decide they're gonna.
That'd be, I could, Judy, I come up with 24,569.58 before interest. And they're not just gonna charge 5% interest on 24,000, they're gonna charge 5% interest on
Every
200.
Every month, it's
Yeah.
whatever you earn.
That'd be approximately $96,000.
Yeah, so we would increase it by 30% again.
Yeah, that's basically what you're financing it for an extra 100,000, or you take the risk with the money we've got now, and, you know, have budget shortfalls later potentially.
You know, when this happened to us in 21, I think it was 21, we went to Jeff City. And we talked up there, and that's how we're paying that 10,000 since 21, and that's interest free. And I'm just wondering if the state would do that for us again.
But wasn't it the Missouri Joint Municipal Electric Utility Commission that did that, not the state of Missouri?
No, that come out of, it was a state representative who talked for us in Jeff City. It come through some kind of program, Missouri's something, university or something, I don't remember what it was.
Can we pay half?
Because other towns at that time, they added $10 a bill, and we don't wanna do that to our citizens.
Yeah, I was actually gonna call and ask them
Would
for
they
that,
accept
to
half
say
of it,
whether,
and then we can pay that rest out in payments, so it wouldn't take?
but you could definitely give them a call and see what options they'll offer us beyond what they had in their initial letter. I just got this.
Just maybe if we didn't
Now,
pay
this
it all,
invoice
but
date is just the 6th, so,
maybe if we just paid them half and then,
well, and they're gonna take the 334 on the 18th,
anyways.
so
Right.
the next bill will come out with that balance on it, so we would have until we get that next invoice, at least that long before.
I look at it this way. In business, if you have the money, you pay for it. You
Can't
just
hear
go
you.
ahead and pay for it,
Talk
because
in the mic, they can't hear you.
when you're in business, you just pay for it. I mean, if you have the money, you just pay for it. If you don't have the money, then that means you're actually working hopefully on other people's money, but I don't see this coming back to us. In other words, we're paying it, and even the customers that are paying for their electric bills are not gonna show this increase,
Right.
is what the problem is. And if we have the money, I think we should just pay it and then limp along if we have to.
Why would you pay the 5% interest if you've got the money to pay?
That's kind of what I'm getting at, is it's a 5% interest on $200,000. By the time it's all said and done, we'll be paying almost $300,000.
Right.
It's beneficial to pay the bill when you can pay the bill.
But then we gotta remember what's gonna be taken out of the
We're gonna have to.
budget
amend
for
it.
2026, out of the 2026
Right,
budget
I
to cover.
understand that, but what I'm saying is you're just, I mean, it's, okay, so we're gonna, from now until May, we're gonna add another $10,000 to that, by the way. So that would be $35,000 or more a month is what we're gonna pay anyway. We're gonna have to pay the 10,000.
So make the,
Okay, to go with what Calvin's saying right there, you've got 9 months to pay it. So you're gonna pay this $200,000. If you take the other deal, you're gonna pay $300,000, you're still gonna pay within the same calendar year. You're gonna take, you got a choice, take $200,000 out of the budget, or take $300,000 out of the budget. Which would you prefer to take out of it?
so, somebody ready to make a motion then?
Yeah. Just take out me.
Yes, speak up, have to speak up.
Doesn't this mean that in the budget, you said you'd make $210,000 on electric? You're not gonna make any money on electric now.
No, that's right, we're not,
You just lost $200,000 out of this 8 million too,
yes.
Well,
no matter what you do with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotta be paid no matter what you do.
Better to lose the 200,000 than the 300,000.
exactly, and may I make one more? As you're passing your electric rates here, okay, you've already come out, you're coming down on the short end of the stick already. As you're passing the electric rates, and I know, I pay these electric rates too, this sucks. But, okay, you've lost $200,000, add a half a penny to the electric rates. Recoup some of the money, a half a penny to it is not gonna affect everybody all that much, but you know, we're all big boys and girls here. The city just took it and, okay, the city just took a big hit. There we go. The city just took a big hit. So let's all take a small hit monthly for the rest of the year to help take care of what the city took at the beginning. Take a little bit each month and try to make it better. And save that $100,000 because, I mean, regardless, they've already said you're gonna pay this, you got no choice. You're gonna pay $200,000 or $300,000, pick one. So let's recoup a little bit of it. No, we're not gonna recoup it all, but try to recoup a little bit. I know it sucks to have to raise the utility rates a little bit to make it up, but it's gotta come from someplace. Money don't grow on trees, but that's the way it goes. I don't like it coming out of my pocket either, but if every one of us puts in a little bit of it, the city don't come out on the short end of the stick completely, just mostly. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's okay. Any other comments? Questions? Okay, do we have a motion on paying this $555,886.10 bill? Because they're gonna take the $334, we would need to, make the payment of the 200 and whatever.
We do have this, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you've got the bank statement from the
Yeah,
general
I
fund,
looked at
so.
the bank there, just want to double check.
And that is taking into consideration the restricted funds.
I believe so, we can double check those figures before we send the check. I just got this yesterday, so I haven't had time to look.
Something up here right now.
Yeah, I know.
Let me look back.
Well, after those, the restricted funds that they're channeled through the general fund, and I don't know if they've been moved
They've not
anywhere
been
else.
moved out of the general fund, but
But,
they're
I mean,
budgeted
line
out of
items,
it to.
yeah, the line items, just to
Yeah.
make sure that. I would ask that we make the motion to pay it with the, exception would be after confirmation of, making sure that all the designated funds have been accounted for.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll have to second it. I mean, we're gonna lose more, I mean, it's still gonna come out of this budget.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta pay it, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if you float them on, you're still having to pay a payment out of this budget.
Why would you wanna pay more?
Right, exactly.
Okay, if there's
We are
no
already losing.
further discussion, the motion is to pay the whole invoice, after confirmation from the city clerk and the city administrator that the designated restricted funds have all been accounted for. And I do know that the February sales tax have not even hit the bank unless they did it today, so, and the January was not included in our revenue report, so I think we're fine there. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Did you get the motion and the second?
Yes.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
Harry,
Aye.
McAdams,
Aye.
Wallander,
Aye.
Coulter.
Aye.
Now, the next item is the bill to introduce the rate increase that the council and the clerk and both administrators and myself had worked hours trying to get the rate up to where it would be what our projected expense was going to be, and that was before the storm hit us. Because we had already been given the proposed rate increase from MUPA and Show Me Power. But again, none of this has included this storm increase, because as noted in the memo from MUPA, which is that Missouri Alliance, that these total costs was 140% above the budget of the month, and they already knew about the increase, the normal increase that they were budgeting for, so we can look at this as at least 140% above what we were expecting. So having said that, we need to introduce Bill 1462. Terry, if you will, please.
Bill 1462, Bill 1462, ordinance 1793, an ordinance amending chapter 69, utilities of the city code of ordinances for the city of Mountain View, Missouri.
Each of you, I guess, has a copy of that ordinance. They were over there on the table.
Is there a letter over there explaining this, that?
Yes, it should be on the table also.
No, I didn't
No.
put the letter on the table, I'm sorry.
Oh, because that's going out in the mail.
Yes,
Or is this going out in the mail?
yes, we have the envelopes and the labels ready. As soon as you approve, I will send it.
Thanks for
Because
drawing this up, Evan.
You're welcome.
Very nice.
You're welcome.
we've been on a tier system, and this is changing it to flat rates for residential and commercial. But again, this is going to be bringing us up to what we were proposing. Evan, do you want to address this any more before we go into action on this bill?
I think we've probably beaten this one to death.
Okay. Okay, this does reduce the monthly meter maintenance fee. For residential, it was $14.80 and now it's $10, and then it's a flat rate per kilowatt up to the first 1,000 kilowatt hours, and then over that, it goes from 11 cents to 12 cents per kilowatt. So, for the first reading of the Bill 1462, I ask for a motion.
I'll make that motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve Bill 1462 to become ordinance 1793. Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second on the first reading. Any further discussion?
You wanna read this one?
That's the next item for, on the agenda.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So, on Calvin's, when we were doing the work session, he said something about changing co-ops. Is there a reason?
Can't hear you.
So during the work session when Calvin was talking about switching co-ops, what would it take, and are we under contract with MUPA?
I don't know if we're under a contract, but we'd obviously have to do some investigation as to where we could get power from, and whether we wanted to go with whether we legally can go with a full co-op solution, which would then, impact potentially our electrical department. But there are probably at least 2 providers in the area other than MUPA that we could look at if we wanted to. I mean, it would take it'd be a project, it'd probably be at least a 2 to 3 month investigation. You look at Howell, Oregon, there's I believe another, I'm not sure which it is. But, at the end of the day, it's not a bad thing to always pit your vendors against each other and see if you can get the best price.
Would it be something that might be beneficial?
It could potentially be beneficial. We'd have to explore, like I said, there's a lot of infrastructure you've already invested in. We've got a lot of things in the pipeline. And, are they gonna take that over and pay us for it? Are they gonna pay us for the existing infrastructure? Are they just gonna ride on our infrastructure and treat us kind of the way MUPA does and sell us the power? There's a lot of options there, a lot of things to discuss. So it's definitely something I think that might be worth investigating at some point.
And did we confirm that in the G-Work system, our billing system, that going from the tier rate to flat rate is seamless?
Yes, we have 5 or 6 tiers now. I just put tier 1, tier 2, and the rest of the tiers are just blank. There were like 16 tiers available, so we just changed the numbers.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second on reading one, correct?
Yes.
There will additionally be a new charge code, which will be for the meters, because they were built into the rates previously. It'll be MM, which will be your meter maintenance fee, and that's what's reflected in the 10 and the 20 for commercial. So that will be new on their, on the bills, and we'll do something on the back to indicate what that code means to reduce confusion.
So when they receive the bill, it'll just show MM, but they'll know exactly how many dollars they're spending on electric.
Yes, you'll get your MM for your $10, and then you'll get your EL, and it'll have your charge on that.
So it'll be
And
easier for
your
them,
usage.
so it'll be easier for them to actually calculate it to see what
Yes, ma'am.
their rate is.
The tier rates, the tier rates that we have, it just was hard for anybody to figure out what they was paying.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the first reading. We need a roll call vote.
Perry,
Aye.
McAdams,
Aye.
Wallander,
Aye.
Coulter.
Aye.
Now we present the second reading of Bill 1462.
Bill 1462, ordinance 1793, an ordinance amending chapter 69 utilities of the city code of ordinances for the city of Mountain View, Missouri.
Do I have a motion on this second reading?
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a
to
second?
approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the second reading of Bill 1462 for ordinance 1793. Is there any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Perry,
Aye.
McAdams,
Aye.
Wallander,
Aye.
Coulter.
Aye.
Okay, the next item is the letter to our electric customers, and I will just
Yeah.
highlight, yeah, it's attached in our packet. Yeah. Because it's what is, I'm just gonna hit some highlights about it. We know about the meter maintenance, $10. What is driving the change? Higher wholesale power cost, increased expense for equipment, materials, and system maintenance, infrastructure improvements needed, rising labor, regulatory, and operational costs. Why the change identifies the stepped rate model versus the two-tier model, which simplifies it, makes it much clearer. The meter fees have been reduced from the $14.80 to $10, commercial $24.64 to $20. There is an increase to the demand charge. And our commitment to the community. We understand that any increase in utility costs can be difficult, and this decision was not made lightly. The city is committed to keeping rates as reasonable as possible, maintaining reliable electric service, planning responsibly for the future of our utility system. The city appreciates your understanding as we work to maintain essential services for our community. Thank you for your continued support of the city of Mountain View. This is what will be mailed out to each billed customer, is my understanding. And they will take effect March 1, and we always bill a month behind, so these will be reflected on the March billing, the April billing. We need to clarify that. These rates go into effect. It doesn't even say. The ordinance is passed.
So the
as of
next
10th.
billing, the next run of the billing would be on the 15th, so it could,
Be run from the
which would be
15th,
February, so it would be on the March,
from February 15th
to March
to March
15th
15th
would have the new rates.
will be the April 1 billing.
Yes. Is that right?
We were gonna do it
No,
effective
it's not.
now.
No,
It'll be from,
January the 15th, February
15th to
15th.
Well, the rates were,
And then it will be billed March 1st.
right,
Right.
Right.
Well, not March 1st, it would be,
Well, yeah.
no, because the rates weren't
We billed-
approved until now. This is the 10th.
Yeah, March 1st. The bill you receive March 1st will have this rate on it.
yes.
Because the bills have gone out that you received February.
Okay, will it take, okay, this is the utility rates that will take effect March 1st. That's what this letter says. And if the rates are approved on 2/10, the meter will be read between 2:15 and, or what is read will reflect.
this,
My bill,
this, what they're.
Bill
So
that I
we should
received-
probably revise that to say that the rates would go into effect February 16th.
Yeah, because this bill that the last one I got was from 12/15 to 1/15. So from 115 to 215 is what I'm gonna get, March 1. So
Yes.
216,
The rates would go into
360.
effect and you would get the bill on April 1, yes.
April 1 bill, if the rates go into effect,
Until after this next bill.
So no, you want, the rates will go into effect on the 16th of February. But you won't actually get that bill until April 1st.
Okay, so we're not.
It's gonna go February 15th to March 15th. The bill goes out on the 20th, and we get it.
It says right here, we just passed it. Passed and approved on this 10th day of February. So with the new billing cycle that starts on the 15th. This rate that we increased will start February the 16th. From February the 16th till March the 16th, and then the first bill will be, they will get April the 1st. Okay.
so but the letter needs, they will take effect February 15th.
We'll make that
16th.
modification, yes, sir.
Yes.
So you're gonna change March first to February 16th, right?
Right.
Correct.
Yes,
How does the increased rates affect the low income people on social security within the city limits and outside the city limits?
Any,
it's for the first 1,000 kilowatt, it's 11 cents per kilowatt. For 1,001 kilowatt hours and over, it's 12 cents per kilowatt. So it depends on how much electricity each individual uses.
Well, I mean, I understand that, but there's people who are on social security or who are in the low income housing. Will it affect the low income housing that's within the city of Mountain View exactly, or?
It's all in your kilowatt usage, so if you use less than 1,000 kilowatts, it's gonna save you money. You're gonna
Okay.
actually see less electric being used, or money being spent on kilowatts. If you're using less than 1,000.
Alright.
The meters has went down.
And the meter,
on
the
Yeah.
initial fee has went down.
on the tiered rates that it was, if you look on there,
Can't hear nothing.
on the tiered rates that was there, and we changed. If you used your first 30, cost you like 24 to 29 cents a kilowatt. And then it went down from there to 19, and the more you used, the cheaper it got. But with this, everybody's gonna be paying the same on your kilowatts. If you use less than 1,000, your bill will go down. If you use more than 1,000, then you're paying 12 cents a kilowatt for that. Where before, the most used people, it just went up and down because the more you used, the cheaper it got. And so the people that was using 35,000 was not having to pay what me and you was having to pay.
Per kilowatt.
So we made it fair across the board for everybody.
I guess to add to that, on average, I think let's keep this in reality, on average, 42% of the residential population use less than 1,000 kilowatts, and they'll see a fairly significant reduction in their bill.
Okay, I was just curious about that. I hope I wasn't rude to interrupt.
No,
your
no,
question
no,
or nothing,
no.
so.
Because, and, you know, again, it's not based on income or anything like that, it's based on the usage per kilowatt. But the tiered level, you were paying this price for 30, and then the next 100 would be another, and then to add all of those together, it did come up significantly more than 11 cents. And if, when you do get your new bill, there'll be assistants in City Hall to explain each individual bill in comparison to the previous. I don't know if they've agreed to that or not, but I kind of put it out there.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're very welcome.
One thing too, for your meter in your first 10 kilowatts, before it was $14.80. Automatic first off, just $14.80, and we lowered that down to $10. So.
That's the maintenance fee is $10.
Right.
the 10 kilowatts is gonna be $1.10.
Right.
So, good thing spring is coming and you don't use as much light. Okay, does anybody else have any questions or comments on our electric at this point? Because again, we gotta remember, we're still taking the hit, but this should help the residents significantly, but it does not address the increase because of this cold. We can pray that we don't have another round of it. Okay, let's go on to number 10. This is a request to approve changes of the bank signers because we had a change in accounts payable. So we need to remove Chris Rees and add Jennifer Courtney to the accounts. So I need a motion to approve that.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Because a copy of the minutes and this listing will be sent to both banks. Okay. The next is a purchase correction. On the December 9th meeting, we asked for approval of the power pole purchase. And this was for pole mounts and wood poles and pad mounts from 3 different companies. We neglected to include the poles on the Sunbelt Solomon. We had pole mounts from MSTN, wood poles from Fletcher Reinhardt, and then we requested pad mounts from Sunbelt Solomon for a cost of $21,400. It should have included pole mounts also from Sunbelt Solomon for another $15,650. So I'm asking for approval of that pole mounts from $15,650. No, there wasn't anything in the packet for this. This is just a needed correction. And these were best prices that we could get before rates went up. So I'm requesting approval for the purchase of pole mounts also from Sunbelt Solomon in the amount of $15,650.
How much? Say that one more time.
$15,650. Is there a motion? This is what Trish had, it had already been presented, but when we were adding things up, we didn't include pole mounts from both places. We only included pole mounts from one place.
Who did we approve there? Who did we approve?
The Sunbelt Solomon, but we
Solomon
only,
Sunbelt is who we approved,
yes.
because that
Well,
was the cheapest one?
No, there's three different companies were approved.
Oh, okay, 3 different
But
companies.
yeah,
we
pole
approved.
mounts from MSTN, wood poles from Fletcher Reinhardt, and only pad mounts from Sunbelt. But it should have been pad mounts and additional pole mounts from Sunbelt Solomon.
Well, I thought you just said we just ordered pole mounts from somebody right there.
We did, but they also ordered pole mounts from Sunbelt Solomon. There's different types of pole mounts that they needed.
Okay.
But when we were adding this, we didn't add
That one included.
the pole mounts from Sunbelt Solomon. We only added pole mounts from MSTN.
Also, I asked Alan about it to make sure I hadn't ordered wrong. The MTSN, he has not used before. They were a little cheaper, but they're a different type, and they're still on order. They're taking longer, and he really needs some right away. So that's why there's pole mounts from two different companies.
So, we've already got an order in for some.
They've
and
already
then
been
they've
received, cause the addition of these was presented wrong. We didn't add the pole mounts when Trish was adding all of these up, because it was part of this and part of this.
Without electricity, there's nobody gonna be doing
Right, I
anything.
mean, we have to have them. You know, it's not a matter of a choice. We have to have the pole mounts. We have a motion, is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now, the next item is Mountain View Soccer Association. Do you want to address this first or ask Laura to come up?
So I had asked for this to be on the agenda because I feel like it is, there are a lot of kids involved. My kids have been involved, and I think it's something we should look into on helping.
And I believe we had you scheduled at one time and you, to tell us what you wanted, and you weren't able to come? Or wait, maybe,
She was on the agenda once.
yeah,
I honestly can't remember.
yeah, I believe so. But anyway, we have what you sent to, Gail.
Yeah, cause I mean, basically, we have over 300 plus kids, 2 seasons out of the year. We pay insurance on the land, which is $507 a year, we pay that. Our field paint is for 2 seasons for the year is roughly, $1,833. When we have to replace nets for the fields, it's $573. They do have to get replaced often, just because kids jump on them, tear them down, weather, wear and tear. We do take them down, so we can try to avoid that, make them last a little longer. Our refs, they get paid $500 a season. It sounds like a lot, but these kids are getting $5 a game. So they log a lot of games. All the adult refs, they don't take money. So that way there's more to go to the kids. So we usually, a year, we're usually hitting right at $3,900 to about $4,000 in expenses. We try to cover that with sponsors for the year. And it's usually, if you sponsor, it's usually about, I think we've got 19, so that's about $2,375 in the concessions for both seasons, and that's if I'm down there Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday running the concession stands, and that's volunteer time. I can usually pull in $2,400 a year. That's on really, this is all like really, really good days. So that brings in about $4,775, and that's not counting for any expenses. And so now on top of that, we're having to mow. Our fields need mowed minimum 7 to 10 days. If we've got a wet spring and the grass is growing a lot, which we had that, I mean, we can see up to $1,200 just to mow. So we're running pretty bare minimum. We've got about $800 to $1,000 left most seasons, and now we have to pay for mowing. So we're cutting it really close, and like we've had a lot of expenses. A lot of it has been to sewer issues. We've had to replace toilets. We had the sewer back up into our concessions, and we had to shut everything down because it backed up in there. It was a foot, so it was pretty bad. just little things like that, one little thing, and of course now with, K-Jax, we know they're gonna be cutting straight through our fields. We don't know when they're gonna be doing that, so if they're gonna be doing that this year, or this season, so to speak, we've had parents that have paid for their kids, and we would have to reimburse them, because they're not gonna be happy if we don't have a soccer season. I don't know that we can move all those kids, because it'll be cutting through our U6, which is our biggest teams. We have a lot of, U6 kids, probably got 6, well, I think with just the signups that we have now, we're gonna have 8 teams. And then we've got, 3 U14 teams and 3 U19 teams that are on that big field.
Okay, I made a note to check with K-Jax to see what they can tell us about the plan for the soccer field.
Yeah, if
Although
they could
they
wait till
are-
mid-May, that would be fantastic.
Mid-May?
But
I don't know, but
yeah.
so far they have,
So,
they seem to get in and get out pretty quick.
Yeah, but, instead, if we could just, I don't know, I just felt like the mowing was just stopped, we didn't really get a whole lot of an explanation, Judy had to call me, and she explained what happened, and I do understand the liability issues, but it never really got just readdressed of,
Well, and for history, in the past, I don't know how many years, that's what the city did for the soccer association, was
Yeah.
the mowing.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Right? Just every 7 or 10 days as it was needed,
Yeah.
is that what you're saying? Okay,
It hasn't
Who-
been that many years, I don't think.
well, I don't know how many years, I mean, last year.
Yeah.
It's the only one that I know for sure, because we were still
Well-
doing it last year, weren't we?
we've been, how long have we been over it, 5 years now?
7.
Yeah, I know for a
Okay.
fact, 5 to 7 years for sure.
Who owns the field?
The Mountain View Resource and Development.
Okay.
And I think there's not.
We're really
a whole
not
lot-
asking for anything, we're just, that was something that was just already there. And then it got taken away and it kinda threw us off a little bit, so.
Well, we do have a letter from Myrma, which is in the packet.
And like she said, we understand that if
Okay.
there's a liability issue, but it was already being done. So we didn't understand why there was no communication.
I'm wondering if we need to,
so what my thought was is something similar to what we do with the youth center and having two.
you mean
So
an
we- so-
agreement on,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
like
there's
a-
nothing in writing that I
Yeah,
could ever
correct.
find.
Yes, and I mean, we're more than happy, like, you know that I show up to the meetings, you know, and I kinda give you guys a rundown, okay, we've got this many kids, we're starting out, this is what we're gonna be doing. Angela Ledgewood is our CPA, you know, if you've got any questions about our finances. I called her and we kinda went over a few of these, I know they're rough numbers, but,
You said that, you're looking into doing the 501(c)(3), is that?
okay, so Nathan and I, we're actually, we have a private club team, it's a Howe County FC. We've been growing it throughout the years, we've been doing that for 10, 12 years.
More like 15.
Yeah, we are currently looking into our, getting our 501(c)(3). We should have that, I'm finalizing the paperwork on that, I've got a lawyer looking at it, probably within the next 2 weeks we'll have that, because, we're expanding that, and we're starting to grow, I mean, expansion wise, like as far as,
I'm looking over, taking over West Plains Soccer Association next fall and umbrelling it in all of this. Because that's how
They'll
much we're
bring it
growing.
over here?
No, they'll stay where they're at.
yeah.
It'll still be West Plains.
But it'll be more what we're trying to do is get more teams, because over the years, a lot of the towns have dropped off, so we're trying to get more teams, so that way they come to us. Like, we kinda have a mandatory thing between the towns, like when Houston does their clown festival, we all try to schedule games with that whenever we do Pioneer Days, cause for a lot of years, they were like, we don't want any games, and whenever Nathan and I took over, we're like, give us all the games on Pioneer Days, cause that way we can bring all the families in, and we put up flyers at the concession stand, and we're like, hey, go to Pioneer Days. So we try to promote anything that's going on with the city as best we can, but we've got, on our Saturdays when we're rolling, I mean, you can drive by there, we've got kids all over the place, and the parents, sometimes, they've got multiple kids, they'll stay in town we run like 8 to 2 usually, and they're in town, so they'll be
I don't
buying
have
gas.
enough parking where we're at right now.
Yeah. Yeah, we do run out of parking.
So we do try to push the community with the program, especially on Pioneer Days. That was weird to me whenever I come in and nobody wanted to do games on Pioneer Days. I was like, give me all the games, we'll do that. That
So you
brings
need to
people
talk
to
to
the
the Chamber
community.
of Commerce.
Well, I think we're on board for that shortly.
But we just, basically just to open up the line of communication better, because it just kind of, it was taken away, and then there was like no real discussion about it, and.
We're not mad, we just didn't understand what happened. I mean, then we found out
One of those things that has
and
never
we got
been
that.
taken care of properly. So we need to take care of it properly.
Yeah, and like I said, we understand the liability thing, and, you know, more than happy to enter into any type of agreement.
But you don't lease those fields from.
I'm looking
See,
at
our
buying
agreement
them.
with the Mountain View, Youth Center, they own that building and that property.
It's technically, cause I've been on the board,
Oh.
they, have power over it, it is the Smith families. Whenever there is a board in place, then it belongs to the board, but the second that board dissolves, there's anything wrong with that board, it goes unused for an X amount of time, it automatically reverts back to the Smith family.
So what kind of agreement do you have with Mountain View Resource and Development then? Do you pay them rent, or is it the same
It's
thing?
ours, no, it was a gentleman's agreement, that it's ours, and it'll only be used for a park for the kids.
We're
And so
looking
that's
at
what we
buying
just
it
did.
ourselves.
Because that's going back to the MIRMA and the liability. I wonder if we do an agreement, but we would have to have an agreement with Mountain View Resource and Development also.
And we can get them, I've already talked to, Steve Vines, and he's basically just, you know, like, hey, what
I'm
can
sure
you
there's
just,
no problem all the way
conversation.
around, it's just getting it
Yeah.
on paper.
I would like to get that
So
worked
if
out.
we can have a motion, somebody ready to make a motion
What are we going?
regarding the,
So what
regarding
do
the
you
Solar
want-
Association?
So what are we gonna agree on? Are you wanting the mowing done? Are you wanting help with like the concessions?
We
How
can,
do you, what do
we
you
can
guys
take care
want?
of like boots on the ground just to save liability for you guys, but if we could, you know, some type of, you know, like what you do for the youth center, we do not need $10,000. I can tell you that right now. I mean, just, like basically the coat of the mowing, like,
If we donate, can we do that?
But do we have to have some kind of like,
Cannot,
I would think it would just be a matter of wording and how it went about.
We budget for,
you, I mean, Myrna's telling us that the liability we can't, okay? And then it says that, at last, the city should check with the state of Missouri to determine if it is creating a conflict of using public funds for a private purpose. That's where we get in.
but because it's for the citizens and the children of,
There you go. How
our
long is
area.
the spring soccer season?
We're building up right now, we're registration right now, so,
5 weeks, 6 weeks, 10 weeks?
we have to the end of this month, I believe. So we're probably gonna push 300
3.5
kids.
months.
No, that's not what I'm asking. I asked, how long is the spring soccer season?
It'll run till May.
To March.
So,
March,
May.
April, May, so you're
3
talking
3 months, yeah.
12 weeks?
Fall
Yeah.
season is August October,
Yeah.
and you
August,
paid
September,
normally-
October, so another,
Yeah,
you're
6
talking
months out of the year.
24 weeks.
And just so you know, I have a regular 40-hour to 80-hour job, and I put in 40 hours there a week on my own, so
Yeah.
I'm not asking for a lot. I'm not asking for anything, really. We just didn't know what happened.
It was liability for murder.
Well, I understand that now, but,
Right.
and I understand that problem,
Right.
but we just wanted to clarify things, because it wasn't really given, we just got shut off, and all of a sudden, we had to figure it out, which, no big deal, we did. But it's gonna be a make or break process. We're a tight run, we run our money very tight. We pay our refs minimum, they don't get paid enough, I'm gonna tell you that right now. Cause I am an official for the state of Missouri. And some of this stuff that they have to deal with is not, they are not paid enough. But they are okay with it, and some of them don't even take money. But we just need to figure out what's happening and be on the same page. We can deal with it ourselves, but
Well, if the city wants to help the soccer association, then I think maybe we need to contact the attorney to see how we can do this, knowing who owns the fields that,
Yeah, and Steve Vines would be your contact for the Mountain View resource.
and go from there. But to get something in writing that
Yeah.
helps them with the fields, and then we'll bring it back. Okay. I think that's a consensus that we will,
Calvin down here every week.
we will.
What's it now?
Let me clean up.
For the minutes, we will, this is a
Well, okay,
consensus
I mean,
that
I
we are
just said
going to
here-
contact the city attorney
Yeah.
regarding how to do
That would be
this.
the smart thing to do, is yes. I also realize what they are saying, but, okay, that's why I was asking, you're gonna spend approximately, and I've asked how long it takes to mow those fields. It's like 3 hours to do the fields of weed eating. So if you have 24 weeks, okay, you're looking at basically 80 hours. Okay, I have no clue what people that mow charge an hour. I have no idea. They charge $20 an hour? I don't know. I have no idea.
It just depends on the surface, I think.
Yeah.
it also depends on the person. I mean, I have a 1 acre lot, and I pay a boy $60 to do it all.
If it's just, what we've been paying someone to just mow the fields and weed eat, and that's not take care of the parking lot, it was $100 whenever they did that.
Each time.
And you're saying it was about $1,200 that you spent?
I know.
2,400 a year.
One of the parents told me her and her husband used to do it, you know. I guess their kids used.
Oh,
Yeah, and see, and that's the thing that it would run into, is we would just basically have to beg people to help us mow and hope that they actually did show up and mow, and, so I mean, if the grass is high, it does affect the game.
Calvin works
Okay.
cheap.
Not 20 years.
We're gonna
ago,
work
we
on
was right
something
beside
to
the
help
youth center.
the soccer
I would
association.
say, let's see what we can
Yeah.
get done through our attorney and see what they can say we can do, so
County
we can
works
get
cheap,
something in
yeah.
place.
Yeah, but like I said,
So,
yeah, Steve Vines is your point of contact for the Mountain View Resource and Development, and then, Angela Ledgerwood, like I said, she does our books, she's done the books for probably ever since it's been.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. The next item is, Ronald McDonald House Week proclamation. February 9th through February the 15th. This is sponsored through Springfield's Ronald McDonald House program. And I won't read the whole thing, but part of it is the Ronald McDonald House near Cox South and the house at Mercy Kids have served the needs of 1,252 Howe County families, 202 of which are residents of Mountain View. So everybody please support Share Our Heart campaign.
Can I say something on that part?
Certainly.
This is a very, very important thing, because this has actually hit home with me. Because for 14 days, I was up at the Children's Hospital with my son and my husband and other son. If it wasn't for the Ronald McDonald House and a place for them to stay, they could not have been up there with us during that time. And things like this are very, very important for people to understand. These things are needed, because without this, it would have been difficult on us, because at the time, it financially hit us hard with his surgeries and everything that was going on. And this does help out a lot, and the more they can get in donations to help keep these houses up and everything, it's very much appreciated.
So everyone, please go to McDonald's and support this, Share Their Heart, by adopting a $1, $5, or $20 heart to the Ronald McDonald House Charities of the Ozarks. Okay. The next item is the police department's performance evaluation policy. Oh, well, he's probably on duty, let's hope. Okay. This.
See that, what you just said, yeah.
Okay, this is a policy that the council needs to adopt, as we are building our policies and procedures throughout the city in all departments. So, please.
Yeah, so, since, raises are directly tied to performance now, I thought it best to have a pretty well thought out and complete policy on how that should be conducted. My goal, kind of building the policy, was kind of remove any kind of aspect of favoritism or anything that could.
Can you get closer to the
Yeah.
microphone? I'm sorry, I don't know if you can raise that up.
And kind of build the policy so it removes any favoritism or any unclearness how raises will be achieved. And so it's just kind of spelled out there through the purposes, policies, type of evaluations, how the evaluation's scored, which, I mean, when I was building this, I was trying to remember back to when I was a young officer, and I always thought maybe clear evaluations were, because, you know, if you're being evaluated, you want it to be as clear as possible, and objectable, and, like, you know, fair across the board. And so was kind of my goal, and so the policy that I ended up with is the officer performance evaluation. It will be completed by their direct supervisor, and then that will be reflected up the chain. So their sergeant, so if you're a baseline patrol officer, your sergeant will be doing your performance evaluation. The sergeant will be evaluated by his supervisor on up. And then I also created two other policies. They won't be necessarily scored for raise wise, but also a self-evaluation for each officer, and then a evaluation form for your supervisor, where you can rate your supervisor. And so I wanted to add those in there as a way to collect some data points to make sure any issues were identified by both the supervisor and maybe some self-reflection of the officer. And if there was any potential issues with that supervisor, a way for that to be documented as well. And so I tried to make it a very clear scoring process. You know, it's a possible score out of 160's passing. It's not, I try not to make it arduous or nothing that can be, you know, where you should be meeting a basic standard. And then I also baked into there, if you fail to meet that standard, like, I just don't want to leave officers out to dry. Like, if there's a issue that they're not meeting basic performance, I developed a growth and goals policy with how, what objections are to be met, and a timeline, and then a secondary evaluation in the future to see if the identified issues have been addressed. And so it kind of grew. I was thinking a 3 or 4 page policy, and I ended up with a lot more than that, but I tried to make it all encompassing, so. But some feedback would be appreciated, because this is, I can edit this, tweak a few things and stuff, but this is kind of the direction I want to go.
Well, and I see you've got the self-evaluation for an officer.
Yeah.
The supervisor's evaluation of that officer. Then you've got evaluation of the supervisor by that officer.
Those are the
And
two.
the growth plan,
Yeah, the growth plan, is.
only for the ones not meeting the
Yes, and
expectations.
so the major evaluation here, the one that will be scored for raises, is the one conducted by the supervisor for the officers underneath them. That one will be scored for raises. The others are briefer, they're not as in-depth. They're just helping collect some data points to make sure everybody's on the same page. Officers are feeling like they're being supervised fairly, and also give them a chance to identify some areas they could grow in. And so, a lot of times I've found that, officers, they will sit down for a minute and it's not a too in-depth evaluation, but it's enough to reflect a little bit. They kind of know what areas they can improve on. They can identify that. The supervisor also will list that, and it's a good data point to have for evaluations.
And I see there's a separate one for the administrative clerk.
Yes,
Versus the
so I
officer.
made one for a civilian employee, it's because the questions are obviously different, like, I'm not going to be grading the clerk on their patrol capabilities. So I tailored that one for, the administrative clerk position.
Well, I commend you for it, because
Yes.
Yes.
Very,
Very well
nice.
put together.
we need more of these.
Yes.
You're gonna try to do it twice a year? Is that what I'm reading?
Yeah, I thought the performance evaluation it's what I'm toying with right now. I thought maybe towards the beginning quarter, any areas that need improvement, I kind of was thinking that for maybe officers that could use a little extra area of improvement, identify any issues in the spring, have growth and goals. The busy summer, we'll see how any of that growth and goals is applied, and then a secondary evaluation towards the fall. What I was thinking for that fall evaluation would catch, and give me kind of an idea where to go with budget wise, going into the next budget year. The budget and potential raises and things like that.
That's a lot. When I went through this, I thought to myself, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
That's why I was asking about twice a year, seemed like a lot.
You think, once
But
a
I
year
also
would be more
understand the
appropriate?
job.
Right.
I don't understand the job, I should say that, no, I don't understand the job. But being evaluated twice a year on the police department, I don't know if that's.
That's the scored performance evaluations. That's not gonna be the supervisor's evaluations.
No, the second two will be just a once a year, deal. But the scored evaluation, I was thinking twice a year.
If I can make a suggestion?
Yes, sir.
Just two, actually. One is be consistent in growth and, growth and goals.
Yes.
And the use of the word tip. Because both of those are for the below 60, right? So
Yeah.
they're synonymous, so just be
Yeah.
the same with both of them. And then potentially, maybe when you do your evaluation, at a half year, just do like a progress check, not a full evaluation. And that'd be a little less onerous, but also kind of like that touch point to make sure,
Okay.
are you on track?
So do like at the beginning of the year, the full,
Yeah, where you set your
Evaluation.
goals and your evaluation. I do really appreciate the idea of including, the concept of, a 360 look back for
Right.
the supervisor.
Yeah.
That's really a good idea.
because the way I've tried to word it in the policy and in the evaluation is that if you're scoring below a minimum standard, you are scoring below the minimum standard. I've tried to make it very clear like that. You're on shaky ground. Like, not only are you not meeting a minimum standard, like your performance is an issue. And so that kind of fell into like the growth and professional development plan. And so,
What's the length of that growth and development? I mean, is it, like my experience.
so the review
with
period, I
like-
gave options, like, so you can have a 30-day, 60-day, or 90-day review on it, and that's selectable by the supervisor, or like, you know what.
Okay, so it's a short, like, you know, buddy, you're in trouble,
Right,
fix it,
yeah,
and
yeah.
fix it fast.
Exactly,
Right,
yeah.
okay. It's not, we'll talk to you again in 6 months.
Yeah,
you know.
no, like, so, kind of my thought was, is like, you know, professional people should be able to do a professional job. If this review identifies some areas of concern, I feel like a professional person should be able to address that issue within 90 days. I mean, that's 3 months. I feel like, you know, I'm not asking them to learn a new skill. I mean, basic skills are taught at the academy. We provide continuing education. But 90 days, I feel like, you know, we can address that issue. It gives areas for what we will do for that officer that is dropping below the desired level, like what we will provide. Is it a training issue? We'll identify the training, get that person the training, and see if that will address the issue or not. So.
And you have, follow-ups built into the growth and performance?
I do.
So that you
Yes.
can document the progress
Yes.
forward?
Yeah.
Okay.
And plus, I mean, if it goes down, like the idea behind that, if it goes down the road of where a separation from employment is necessary, you got the roadmap of
Well,
documentation.
yeah,
led up to that.
let's face it, that's what it pit.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
You're on your way out if you don't change.
Right.
What about, you know, professional growth? In other words, you're gonna do this evaluation,
Speak
What if
into the
they-
microphone, please.
what if they have gone to, like schooling for 2 weeks, special schooling, is that going to be noted on evaluation and such? Drug officers training or something such as that, is that going to be noted on the evaluation form and then put in the?
Yes, for like the development plan, yeah, so we would note that if they are needing some sort of area of training, we would note what that training would be in a follow-up. But if you're talking about like the overall, like the evaluation
Well,
of
they're
score.
coming out of the academy,
Right.
we're gonna hire them, so you're going to do this, but over a period of time, they're also going to require additional, maybe
Right.
not require, but want additional training to how to recognize this, maybe go to a detective position from a patrol car, something such as that, safety training on driving, stuff such as that, is that also?
So, no, I don't have it in the scored review about like any training or anything. I mean, I guess I could break down by training, like what they receive.
Yeah, also, it might be useful just to put in on the self-evaluation where the officer can say, here's the things I did that made me outstanding, or, you know, were not in my everyday duties, but I went above and beyond for.
Right.
Just so, you know, everybody wants to be able to say, here's what I accomplished.
Okay, right. So you're talking about in the self-review?
I think we, you know, my history has been, your personal growth is your responsibility, so you should be able to say, here's the things I accomplished, you know, I went above and beyond and got certified in X, Y, or Z.
Okay.
Couldn't that even be added in this performance and productivity review?
Yeah,
I think
that's
it should
what I
be.
was looking for was, let's say they went to a defensive driving school for a week.
Okay.
Okay, and you've got 5 other officers that didn't do that. That means that officer that did is a little bit of a notch so to speak, a little bit, they're taking it more, their professional growth.
I don't think that's what the performance evaluation is for, though. That is for like an actual, like if you're doing a raise, you're looking at, they've done this training, they've done that training.
Well,
Is that,
but look, it says in here, performance evaluations are vital to, and one of them is identify high-performing and low-performing officers. So wouldn't that end professional development?
but I think the trainings, most of it is necessary, because you guys have to continue
You're
to.
Yeah,
required all the
each,
time.
each officer has required training through the year. And so, if you notice in my department report that I put out, I've kind of forecasted what the training will be for each officer.
I don't want her to hold her arm up too much longer. Go ahead.
Having done performance evaluations for like 30 years in EMS, every year there is a place where you're supposed to set goals for yourself of what you project that you would like to do to further your training. And then at the end of the year, you can look back and did they do that? Yes, they did. No, they did not. Or they even exceeded it. And that all needs to be wrapped in that somewhere.
Okay.
It's not, it's just, you don't want to say you're meeting the minimums. You want them to rise above that and strive to do even better than that. And you'll see so much more growth in your people.
So even though it's training at the department setting, so, okay.
I mean, I can probably get you some copies of that kind of stuff,
Okay.
just to give you some ideas, but I know every year I had to have 3 goals, attainable goals. You
Right.
couldn't just blow smoke, it had to be something finite, that you could come in and you got a certificate or a new certification of some type, and that in the long run, it actually benefited you where raises and stuff come in.
Okay.
Because, I mean, what you've got, I haven't seen it, but what I've heard, it sounds like it's tremendous, and a lot of work in it.
The only issue I foresee with that, because training funding is very limited, not everybody's gonna be able to go to the $1,000 class.
Right.
And so then you have to develop a weighted system, like how does the $1,000 class weight against the $150 courtroom testimony class? Because, you know, maybe not everybody's got that desire to attend the detective class, or, you know, maybe that's not their forte. And so, did you have like a weight system on how to balance, like, class styles? Because short of going into like rating each individual officer in a different way.
We had like a general list of things that we could use every year for personal development, and I know money does go into that, but there are some online things that you can do, even those.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Oh,
they
yeah.
make the effort
Yeah.
and
Oh,
they seek
yeah.
out training and ways to improve themselves, that's the kind of people you're looking for. It doesn't have to be $1,000 class, it can be something smaller even.
So for right now, I mean, this is on the agenda for the council to approve the policy, but do you want to do that now, or do you wanna get more input
Yeah,
and bring it back?
Yeah, I can bring it back. I just, I do want to be in a position where I can give officers raises at, you know, at their anniversary day. I believe that's what it's set as, is that you get raises if they meet a performance level. So I do wanna kinda get it dialed in, so maybe,
Or do we want to approve this with the condition that you do add something about training to it? Would that work?
I'd be happy to work with you on that.
yeah.
I think we can knock it out, I think we can
yeah,
knock it out in
we
a couple
can-
hours.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm up to
'Cause
any suggestions that will make it better.
You can meet with Evan
Yeah.
and also,
I think he's
Karen, or her
98% of the way there.
okay, so do you wanna make a motion on this as it's presented with the condition, or have him bring it back?
I can bring it back next month too, I believe, because I don't believe I have any officers up until April or May.
Oh, okay. Okay, then I'll ask for a motion that he brings it back in March.
I think that would make myself feel more comfortable than just having approved policy, because then you guys have seen the final product and, you know, are very on board with it.
Do you have a comment before we?
Yes, I used to work for the Department of Corrections at SCCC and stuff. I mean, we did have a performance evaluations as well too. Well, as you were mentioning, self-evaluation, supervisor evaluation, and then it was evaluated by the lieutenant and the captain. So I may be able to put input on those evaluations possibly, if I may.
Okay, yeah.
And you
I
can
make a
contact
motion
Steph.
that, you bring it back to us next month,
Will do.
and then, it's very well brought up.
Thank you.
I was impressed by it.
Okay, we have a motion to bring back your revision. It would be on the March meeting agenda.
That will work.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Thank you, Stetson, very much. Next item is the resolution and agreement, or resolution for me to sign the agreement with the youth center, and that is giving them the $10,000 to be limited to the electrical service of the building. And we will no longer provide any mowing. So can you present, did you make copies of this resolution? Okay.
Bill number 1473, a resolution 26-2-10, a resolution of the city of Mountain View, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with the Mountain View Youth Center for Community Services.
There's no copies of that resolution.
Oh, there's no copies of the resolution? Okay.
I'll read
You
it.
read
in
the rest of it.
entirety then.
Yes.
Be it resolved by the council of the city of Mountain View, Missouri as follows. Section 1, the mayor is authorized and directed to execute an agreement with the Mountain View Family Youth Center for Community Service for a term of 1 year. The amount expended for the contract shall not exceed $10,000 and be limited to electrical utility services billed. Section 2, the agreement shall be substantially the same in form and content as the agreement attached as Exhibit A. Section 3, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after the date of its passage and approval. Passed and approved this 10th day of February 2026.
And it does say in the agreement, it's the period commenced January 1, 2026, and shall be for the period expiring December 31st, 2026. Do I have a motion to approve this bill number 1473 for resolution 260210?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I know in here it says upon request the city, agrees, and, I can't find the Family Youth Center agrees to appear at monthly regular. I think we do need a report down there of how many of our children's been there every month.
If they do it similar to, like if they do it similar to our department reports, that way they don't have to come to every meeting and explain what's going on. I think.
Maybe submit it in.
Yeah, I think I would like that. Number 6.
Yeah, it's number 6 on the agreement. I just want to
Appear
make sure.
at a regular meeting and provide a report. Okay. So appear at a regular meeting,
It says monthly.
It says monthly.
at a regular monthly council meeting.
Right.
Doesn't mean they come every month. to appear at a regular monthly council meeting.
And
Just
provide a
like we
report.
asked him to,
Well,
we asked him to come before the renewal, but you want something every month?
I was thinking every quarter, just kinda.
I just wanna make sure that,
Well, then can we just add the words
Like a
each quarter
report to us? Is that what you
agrees to
said?
appear at a regular monthly council meeting each quarter and provide a report?
Do you need
That'd be
them
the
to-
simplest.
Do you need them to actually appear, or do you want them to just present you with a
That's
report
what-
every month?
Well, that's what we're
I was
trying
just
to,
saying, a written report every month. My concern is making sure that all the children is represented, not just especially kids that is in gymnastics or, I want just a regular kids to be down there benefiting from these.
They've already started keeping the track of all of that, that's part of the new director's job.
Okay,
What if they come in, what if they send us in a monthly report on how they're doing, and then quarterly come in and present what they did for that full quarter? Is that,
that's a little bit oversight, I think.
yeah,
Because the $10,000 is for the electric that's billed, that's what the
Right.
service that we have budgeted for. So, I mean, I agree that they should give us a report, but not every month or even 4 times a year, I mean, that would be kind of excessive, I think.
what do you think, Evan?
I think if they're already gathering that data, then it couldn't hurt to get it that quarterly. I mean, you get a better view into it rather than just hearing from them once a year that, hey, here are the 20 things we did, and it's more difficult for them to collect 12 months worth of data at the end than it is to just kind of as they're going. So maybe
Well, and if it's at 3 months at a time, then you've got something in front of you, because if you get it each month, you're not gonna hang on to that to look at it the next month and.
I think quarterly is good, and it'll show progress over time, which is what you're expecting, right, and hoping for.
And of course, this did say upon request from the city, Family Youth Center agrees to appear at a regular monthly council meeting and provide a report, which is what we've done in the past. We've asked them to come at the time of the renewal. So we could still leave that one,
Oh, I think
that
it's
they
fine.
appear at a regular meeting.
I think
but-
it's fine the way it's wrote, I just think that we need to inform them that we do wanna, we never have got a report that I know of. And except for the 1 year,
I don't
That's all
think
we've
it's
asked
out of
for,
line
yes.
to
That's
ask
all it's
for a
been asked
monthly
for.
report.
right,
I mean, you may not want to have them actually present
Okay.
for 12 months.
Number
but-
9 says, Family Youth Center shall keep its books and records open for inspection at reasonable times by any person designated by the city. Maybe that one needs to be changed, that the Family Youth Center shall present a quarterly report to the city administrator, or,
Quarterly report to the council on a regular meeting.
to the city administrator.
well, we could
and
still
to the
leave
council.
that we could ask them to come on number 6, if we, let's say we get 2 reports and we've got some questions, then we could ask them to come. But back on shall keep its books and records open for inspection. Even if we wanna leave that, but, and provide a quarterly report to the city council. Could we just add that to number 9? Would that,
We could,
you got it in front of you?
would that cover it, Evan?
Yeah, I think so.
And I don't, by any person designated by the city, do we wanna leave it at that? Cause then that would have to be a decision by the council to decide who was gonna go inspect them.
Well, like I said, my whole thing was, I'd just like a report because I'd like to know that all the children's getting benefit out of it, not just people that play volleyball or special. Yeah, just report on everything.
So let's change 9 to read, just to add to it, any person designated by the city, and provide a quarterly report, activity report, what, or does it matter, a report? Provide an activity.
Just put quarterly reports.
And provide
Yeah.
quarterly reports to the city council.
Is this on number 9? You're
Yes,
adding this?
we're just adding, and provide quarterly reports to the city council.
Sherry, you might add a beginning date to that so they'll know we added.
The quarterly reports beginning?
Yes.
Okay,
So that,
beginning April 1?
Sorry.
So we'd have January, February, March? Beginning April 1. Or it would be the second quarter of the year. Well, if we make it second quarter, then it'd be the same thing every year.
But if you put a date, it makes it very
Beginning
specific.
April 1. Because then it would be, the report would be for January, February, March.
Mhm.
Yes, sir?
With what, Ms. Coulter was saying, when it comes to people doing gymnastics, would it include people who have disabilities or physically disabled at the youth center?
It should be, well, yeah, we don't really know what activities they have, what days or even what months. I mean, some months they're gonna have basketball and maybe nothing else, I don't know, but we'll be finding that out through these quarterly reports.
Alright, that's what I was just curious about, so.
Okay. So, we have a motion and a second to approve the resolution, but I want to confirm the change on the contract. On number 9, we are adding, after by the city, it will be, and provide quarterly reports to the city council beginning April 1, 2026. Is there any further discussion? We'll have a roll call vote.
Perry,
Aye.
McAdams.
Aye.
Wallander.
Aye.
Coulter.
Aye.
Okay. Now, the next one is a resolution for a social services agreement from the Missouri Department of Social Services. And it's my understanding that previously, when citizens applied to Ozark Action for utility assistance, and Terry, correct me if I'm wrong, Ozark Action would send pledges to the city. We would keep track of those pledges, and when the people came in to pay their water and sewer, then whatever Ozark Action had pledged to pay on their electric, then the city credited their electric. Now, I'm told that because we did not have an agreement between the Missouri Department of Social Services, that is it just January or was it December? The payments went to the citizen themselves, and I don't know whether they paid their electric with it or not. I guess we don't have any.
I believe it's just January.
Just January. So, the Department of Social Services is asking for this agreement before they will send the money to the city, we think.
Did we ever find out on, the Medicare, the ones that get the cards that help pay their electric bills or cell phones, any utilities? Did we ever start accepting that?
I don't know of any we've accepted.
Okay, so we haven't figured out if we can.
Yeah, is it a credit card?
It's,
It's a benefit card.
Stamp card, isn't it?
Debit card,
Yes.
yeah.
I can't remember the name of it, I don't have it offhand, but it's one you can use to, I mean, you can use the number, pay whatever, like your utilities, phone bill, electric.
But it's a branded card.
Yeah, if it's a regular
Yeah,
credit
if it's a
card,
Visa or MasterCard debit logo card, we would be able to take it.
It's
think
a
it
card
looks like
that's
the
reloaded every month. Each month that they qualify for it, then it gets loaded on there the first of the month.
But is it for all benefits or just for,
It's for.
you wouldn't have a card for electric and a card for
No, it's just.
food, though, it's just one card?
One card, but they have a list that it says you can use it for, to pay your utilities, you can use it for food, you can use it.
Oh, so it's
for-
just gonna be like a Visa card for $50 or whatever it is. It could be used wherever. So if we accept credit cards, then we'd have to be able to accept that one then.
I would think so, but I was told that we don't. So I think it's
I
something
don't,
we need to.
have we ever had anybody
yeah,
ask
if
though?
someone has it refused by us, they'll come to
I
me,
don't know
I'll
that we've ever
check into that, but I've
refused
not had anyone that I know of try to use it. If it's just like a debit card, they can just swipe it there at the counter and.
Right, it would be just like,
It'll
if they
get.
Unless
were paying by
it's
their
one of
own.
those restricted cards, where, and because it's the city and not a physical utility.
That could very
might
well be
what
too,
would
so
kick it
that's
out.
something that.
But yeah, we'll keep an eye out for sure.
I have the name somewhere, I just don't have it wrote down here, but I think it has to do with Medicare.
Well, Medicaid also would have that benefit, I
It's
think, too.
Medicare, if you make under a certain amount per month, and then Medicaid, of course.
So this, I mean, we need the resolution so that I can sign this, but we've got to get some more details before I sign it. But it's a requirement. I mean, we're gonna have to enter into the agreement or we won't be able to accept or
Can we
receive.
go ahead and approve it?
Approve the resolution for me to,
Right.
yeah, because you're not approving the contract, you're
Right.
approving for me to sign it.
For you to sign it.
Yes.
I'll make that
Oh,
motion.
we've lost someone.
Sorry.
Let's wait.
We have to read it first.
Yes.
Just making sure.
Oh, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Mother Nature
I
calls, you
didn't
gotta
know
go.
she was gone. I couldn't stop. We're on a roll here.
Well, the look on your face when you turned around and she was there. It was priceless.
I think this is the first time I've been warm in a month, people.
Well, it was 74 degrees today, so it's a lot.
I know when I was still wearing this.
Were you really?
Yep, I had it turned from. I did too. Okay, now we need the bill 1473 read, please.
Okay, bill number 1473, resolution 26-02-10, a resolution of the city of Mountain View, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Missouri Department of Social Services Family Support Division.
Read the whole thing.
Oh, this
I was
one.
gonna say, we've got
does have-
copies of that one.
Yeah,
Oh, you
we
got
do
copies
have
of that
copies
one.
There should be 74.
Oh, yeah, we've got 1470,
Yeah, 1474.
should be 1474.
Resolution 2602-10-01.
Okay. It's Bill 1474 for Resolution 2602-1001.
So it's not
Yes.
done here, right?
And it's for me to sign or for the mayor to sign the social services family support for low-income energy assistance.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Perry,
Aye.
McAdams,
Aye.
Wallander,
Aye.
Coulter.
Aye.
Okay, the next one is the electric department emergency purchase. This is to fix the electric over at the,
On Joinery Lane, the trailer park, and, the pump station.
and it's to Cape Electric for, the wires $11,075 and the conduit $1,560 for a total of $12,635. Is there a motion to approve?
It's already been ordered, hasn't it?
Yes. This is on an emergency basis
Yes,
purchase,
right.
we've got to have it.
Right. I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call vote.
Harry,
Aye.
McAdams,
Aye.
Wallander,
Aye.
Coulter.
Aye.
Minutes need to reflect that this is an emergency purchase. Okay. Now, that personnel policy that was worked on for so long, we got some revisions. Again, it's, yeah.
You start using it, there's a little thing.
Yes. On the 4-03 pay increase policy, adding the words after the employee's second line of this, employee's hire date, anniversary, or promotion anniversary date. Because a promotion will not always be the hire date, because we won't get these evaluations approved and everything, so that's one. Then on the guidelines for the comp time. The comp time exceeding 80 hours must be used within 30 days for full-time officers employed by the police department. The police department was not designated in the policy. And upon promotion or pay rate change, accrued compensatory time is paid out before the effective date. That's why how we will avoid
Will that-
buildup of comp time.
I'm gonna open up a can of worms here. On this, upon promotion or pay rate change, it being paid out. Upon the promotion or pay rate change for a payout, I think the golf course should be exempt from that.
Why?
Because they keep, how do I explain it? They build up their comp time to last till April the 1st because of snow days, and their comp time is not overtime, it's straight time.
Right, but it's also got a provision in there about the golf course. It's capped.
Yeah, by April, see, in there, their cap is, they can get up to 240, and it's used by April, so if you get a promotion on his hiring date, and if you pay him out, then on snow days when the golf course is closed.
Well, yeah, but you're not, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think you don't pay out the golf course, because they're supposed to take the time off.
Right.
Because if that was the case, they'd be working 14-hour days in July.
Right.
For 6 days, and we do a
Right.
whole bunch of overtime, but they're the ones that,
Yeah, it's straight time.
right, it's
They
straight
work
time,
14-hour days, but it's, they get,
they get
6
December,
hours.
January,
Right.
February, March, or whatever they want
Right.
off to use up that comp time. I understand what you're saying, is they should not get that increase in wage on the comp time usage from, okay, but if they do it last year and they're taking it this year, and they get a pay raise this year, they should not get that increase, but if they take it, is that what you're saying? That's what
okay,
you're saying.
it's saying that, okay, he's got till April the 1st to use his comp time, which is straight time. you know, it's not time and a half.
Right, I understand that, but
So if he gets a raise in January or December and he has worked 14-hour days so he can have time off, but you have to pay him out, then how's he going to take time off on snow days and if you paid him out?
Well, the hire date anniversary may eliminate that, for that matter, because he wouldn't have the evaluation or get the pay rate change until,
I don't think so.
we won't eliminate it.
I think she's right.
Well, we just went through it.
yeah, no, I'm saying that, no, that's,
We would
if somebody gets a pay raise come January 1 and their comp time is all built up like the golf course, okay, they're supposed to take that off, but they shouldn't be getting the increase of the wage until the following fall, when that has been, is that what you're getting at? In other words, they should be basically a year behind. If they get a pay raise January 1 to, I don't know, whatever, $28 an hour, okay, and they'd actually accrued all that comp time at 25, that's what they should be getting paid. Is that what you're saying, Judy?
No, I'm just saying,
I mean, you have spring starting in March, so you're gonna have extra hours in March. So there's going to be a likely that somebody is gonna get extra hours and you can't separate it. So it's gonna have to be an exception.
Or can this be changed?
I'm
Can the
pretty-
20
I'm
hours
pretty
be
sure,
changed?
the law is if you have to pay out comp at the highest rate. You can't default back to a previous.
Right.
So you might wanna consider the exception to be something like the way teachers get, where they get a planned amount, but they're off during the summer, but they still manage to get their pay. So maybe you look at structuring for golf, raises to only occur at the beginning of the season, so that comp time they build up over the season carries them all the way through, regardless of what their hire date was.
Or if we take out that reduction to 20 hours by April, would that eliminate the problem?
well, no, not really, because they work it in the summertime.
Yeah.
So because if it's bad weather, they close the golf course down. Just like when it was snow and ice, it's being closed. So if we make the personnel at golf course use all their comp time, then he's gonna have to get a week's pay, he's gonna have to go back down there, I guess, to work in a maintenance shed until.
I think what she's getting at is that he don't need to be paid out his comp time.
Right.
Period, on the first of the year, because he has to use it up, he has to use it till April. In other words, he don't get paid out, period, for his comp time, is that what you're trying to say?
That's why I think I mean, their pay out there is their comp time hours is so much different than any of the other employees, cause they work 12 to 14 hours a day in the summertime, straight time. They don't get no time and a half. So, to me, regardless when their year's up, or their promotion's up, then they just should not have to be paid out, because when it's snowing, because they're riding on straight time, not time and a half.
Be exempt from being paid out, and he has to use it all but 20 hours before April.
Right, that's the way it is out
Where
there.
others would get paid out, he wouldn't get paid out at all, he has to use it up.
Since the golf course is addressed right above this, upon promotion or pay rate change, accrued compensatory time is paid out before the effective date, with the exception of the golf course.
Right. So
Will that work?
I think down here, upon promotion or rate change, accrued compensatory time is paid out before the effective date, excluding the golf course. Should be added on to that.
Might wanna check with the lawyer. I mean, I
When's the-
agree, but you might wanna
Yeah,
check. with
because
them.
then it might be discrimination or whatever, but I know
Well, and we had sent the final of this and had it reviewed from the attorney anyway, so we probably need review of these 4
Right.
things also.
That's right.
Okay, so the 1003 rules and responsibilities in this employees operating city vehicles or equipment for municipal purposes are subject to the following. And the last one, city-owned fire chief vehicle may be permitted to be taken home by the fire chief provided he or she lives within the city limits and is approved by the council. This was a must-have in this cold weather so that it could be plugged in and kept functioning.
This was just adding.
That's just adding it, so.
Yeah, just the fire
So,
chief taking care.
we need to ask the council to approve these 4 changes to the personnel manual, including that, adding the excluding golf course under the guidelines, with the condition of attorney review.
I'll make that motion.
Did you get that motion, Terry?
Approve changes with, the stipulation that the city attorney approves.
The golf
Just
course.
review, I mean, she needs to review, and we'll bring it back if she has conditions. Okay, we have a motion to approve these changes, including the excluding golf course,
I'll second.
contingent upon review. We have a second. Any further discussion?
Who first and second? I'm sorry, I was writing them. Thank you.
Okay.
First, she said.
And the last item is our new digital city seal. We've had the old printer type for so long.
It's in.
This is, and when you would scan something and send it over, or a long time ago fax something, you know, the seal wouldn't show unless you shaded it with pencil first. But now we have a seal that is blue. What's in the packet's black and white, but here's the blue one for you.
Yeah, I got both, I don't know about anybody.
Yeah, I stamped the top of the package for you.
So, okay, I don't have any announcements, we removed the closed session, so I ask for a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
If there's no further discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Meeting is adjourned, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, very much.